AITA for how I handled my divorce. Story 1. D. So I 30F had been married to my husband Caleb 34M for 4 years, and we dated for 2 years before that. We have a 3-year-old daughter together, and our marriage seemed to be pretty great. I discovered he had been cheating on me with a friend of his for about 4 months. Of course, I was heartbroken, but I chose not to confront him about it, to take my time to process things, to think right about what I should do. The first thing I did was to search for good divorce lawyers, and I talked to my friends about what I should do. Then I prepared myself, and I sat down Caleb and told him a couple of lies. I told him I had met someone on work, and that I had fallen in love with him, and I no longer had any feelings for him. He genuinely looked heartbroken, and had the nerve to be mad about it. It didn't happen, but even if it had, where do you get the nerve to complain about it? He still tried to convince me to not leave for the sake of our daughter, but I think that's the worst thing you can do, to stay in a marriage for a child. It wouldn't be beneficial for them at all. Anyway, then when I filed for divorce, I used all the proof I had to prove the cheating, and he didn't find out about me knowing about his affair through me, but through my lawyers. He has tried to talk to me about this with multiple texts, but I only respond the texts that are related to our daughter. I did this so he couldn't prepare himself, and also because I didn't want to hear those bullshit excuses that cheaters usually use. The main reason why I did this is because, even though I'm not that interested in material things, my parents were both architects and they designed our house. They passed away not too long ago. I also have a big collection of old video consoles that I inherited from my dad, who was a total gamer. I do play, but I'm not obsessed like he was. However, I'm going to take care of those video game consoles as if they were babies. There's also this big collection of rare editions of records from my mom from her favorite bands and artists from the day, and I will also take care of that with my life. My only duty is a daughter after their passing. So, it's basically that. I also told the judge I wanted 50/50 custody because I want our daughter to grow up with both her parents in her life. I got it, and I got to keep the house and also our car. He was left with nothing but his personal things. I received thousands and thousands of texts and calls from Caleb. He keeps wanting to talk, but I'm not interested. The divorce was finalized, and I just simply responded with a text telling him that there are no hard feelings from my part for what he did, that I wish he hadn't been such an asshole, but he was, and here we are. And luckily it's already over. Now, all I want is a good co-parenting relationship, and he shouldn't waste his time trying to make excuses for his actions and wanting to change my mind, because I won't. I won't discuss anything with him that has nothing to do with our daughter. I did, however, warn him about him trying to lie about our daughter in the future about what happened, about speaking bad about me. I made clear that even though there are no hard feelings from me about what he did, I will make sure of destroying him if he even attempts to use our daughter to hurt me in the future. I still have his parents and his siblings telling me I handled things wrong and all that I did has affected him terribly. It has been months, and it still continues. I was ignoring everything, but I had enough and told them to stop with this bullshit already, because Caleb only faced consequences for his actions, and I didn't care how he was doing. And if they keep showing to be so toxic, I might just consider about letting them near my daughter again, because I don't want people like them near her. They stopped afterwards, and ended up telling me once more to me they just think I handled things wrong. Some of my friends are saying that too, and I'm kind of lost because I think I handled things just fine. I'm over that, like I said. We have been separated for over a year, and the divorce was finalized a while ago already. And I've been seeing someone for around 3 months now. It seems like it could be something serious. He's a really nice guy. But the point is, I've been just focusing on moving on and didn't give much thought about what happened. I was pretty sure that I had handled things just fine, but now that so many people, including some of my friends, are telling me that I didn't, I wonder if I was in the wrong. Our advice. It sounds like you went through a very difficult situation and you handled it in a way that felt right to you at the time. Divorce is never easy, especially when infidelity is involved, and it's understandable that you wanted to protect yourself and your daughter. However, it's also important to reflect on your actions and consider the perspectives of others. While it's clear that you wanted to protect your own interests and those of your daughter, some of your actions, such as fabricating a story about falling in love with someone else, could be seen as unnecessarily hurtful. It's natural to feel hurt and angry after discovering betrayal, but finding healthier ways to cope and communicate might have been more constructive in the long run. Similarly, while it's important to set boundaries with your ex-husband, cutting off communication entirely might not be the best approach, especially when co-parenting is involved. Maintaining a civil relationship for the sake of your daughter's well-being is generally advisable, as long as it doesn't put you or her in harm's way. As for your friends and family, it's not uncommon for people to have differing opinions on how to handle divorce, but ultimately, you have to do what feels right for you and your family. However, it might be worth considering their perspectives and reflecting on whether there are aspects of your approach that could be improved upon in the future. Ultimately, the most important thing is to prioritize the well-being of yourself and your daughter as you move forward. First comment. NTA. You handled this brilliantly. I'm so glad you've done your best to be impervious to their gaslighting. You kept a level head and you're right, these are consequences of his actions and his actions only. Cut them all off, and awesome job sticking to your guns. Second comment. NTA. He cheated on you, so you got a divorce. Custody is 50/50, so that's fair. I don't see how you mistreated him in any way. His friends and parents seem to have forgotten how he had been cheating on you for months. The house is yours because your parents gave it to you and they designed it. Your ex and his parents are just upset that they could get their hands on such a valuable piece of real estate. Besides, you and your daughter have to live somewhere. The only thing I could see as being wrong is you making up a story about having found someone else when you initially broke up. I'm not sure why you did that, and it's more confusing unnecessary than actually wrong. You did nothing wrong. He did. Story 2. AITA for not wanting a relationship with my biological kid? In 2015, I, now 40, was raped by a colleague when I was sick. Basically, I had a migraine at work and she gave me a lift home. She then proceeded to have sex with me without my consent while I was really sick. She got pregnant and had a boy, now 8. As you can imagine, it ruined me. My partner at the time left me because it was too hard for her to deal with, and I've never been the same since. I did report her to the police and she was found guilty, but had a much reduced sentence because her defense argued she had mental health issues and didn't completely understand what she did wrong, and admitted to it as soon as she was questioned. So while she did go to prison for a bit, she's out now, although she's never had custody of her kid as she's a convicted Essex offender in the law's eyes, and a fike. The kid's been raised by my rapist parents since. I opted for no contact and no relationship with him. I mean, why would I? And up until now, I've heard nothing. That was until this week. I saw on one of my social media accounts someone messaged me saying they were this kid's nan, and they asked if I'd have contact with him. Basically, he's being asked a lot at school by other kids about his parents, and he's starting to get upset and ask questions, so she reached out asking me if I would. I told her no, that if she tried to get in touch again, I'd report her to the police. I was angry about it at work the next day, and I told a colleague who's also a friend they all know about my situation. She's only became a mom last year, and she was all sympathetic towards the kid, saying I should consider it, and it's not the kid's fault. A few people heard it and all chimed in saying they agree with her, and I got really angry and started arguing with them, and it got a bit heated until my line director heard me and took me to one side asking what's up, so I told her. She said as much as she understands why I'm upset, she feels really bad for my situation as she has a daughter his age and could only imagine how she'd be in the same situation. So because I caused such a scene getting upset, she's going to recommend I speak to the occupational therapy and have to report in to her and my manager, which I really don't want to do, so I'll put in minimum effort while have to. AITA for not wanting a relationship with the kid? Our advice. You're not an asshole for not wanting a relationship with the child. Your decision is valid given the trauma you've endured. It's essential to prioritize your own well-being, but handling the situation with empathy is crucial, especially considering the child's innocence. Seek support from a therapist to navigate your feelings. First comment. That's NTA. I am so very sorry this has happened to you. I am even sorrier that your colleagues think you should be forced into a relationship with a child that came about because you were violated. Ask them if they would be so pushy and up in arms about it if the roles were reversed, and it was a woman being told they should be having a relationship with a child that came about from her being SAID. I guarantee they would be 100% supportive of NC no relationship with the child. If they wouldn't pressure a woman into a relationship with a child as a result of her being violated, why do they think you as a man should be any different? I get that it is not the child's fault, but I guarantee interacting with them when they will only remind you of a horrific moment in your life, and the devastating aftermath will do more harm to them than growing up without biological parents, especially given they have a stable, healthy environment with their grandparent. Frankly, it's up to their mother to tell the truth when they are old enough about how they came to be, and she should deal with that fallout because she caused it. I hope that you can one day find peace within yourself and people both at work and in your home life that will support you and work with you to help you gain some happiness again. Second comment. People are only seeing the child's side, overlooking your own feelings. They don't realize the emotional impact meeting him could have on you. You're not to blame for the situation. The adults in his life are responsible for any misinformation. Despite being a man, you're entitled to feel deeply affected by this revelation. Neither you nor the child are at fault. You deserve peace amidst this disruption. yet others prioritize the child's well-being over your own. You're not in the wrong here, and I hope you find healing despite this unexpected wound.